Welcome to the Shabbat Channel, a taste of CSAIR in your inbox. We wish that we could be with you in person, but for now we think this is the next best thing. So check out this week's episode for music from an amazing artist and Torah from our own CSAIR community. For now, you'll have to supply the Kiddush. Shabbat Shalom.
Most of this week's parsha reads like the manual that came with my desk. Put this screw here, the small piece there, the larger one there. But the parsha doesn't start that way. The parsha starts like this. Moses called the whole community of the children of Israel to assemble, and he said to them, "These are the things the Lord commanded you to make. On 6 days may work be done, but on the 7th day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy, kadosh, to the Lord. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. You shall not kindle any fire into any of your dwelling places on the Sabbath day." The Torah then goes on to talk about the instructions of the building of the Mishkan. This contrast reminded me of two Jewish thinkers I have been learning about in a recent class I have been taking about Shabbat, Rav Soloveitchik and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. Rabbi Heschel and Rav Soloveitchik both speak about the concept of holiness and where it comes from. Rav Soloveitchik teaches us that as humans in a physical world, we need something present in our reality to connect us to God, things like time and space. Rav Soloveitchik teaches us that this is the place of halakha, Jewish law, laws that manage how we use our space and our time. This is an idea that really resonates with me personally. I myself have been on a religious journey of my own for the past years of my life, looking for holiness. When I was younger, I knew I believed in God, but to me God was a distant idea. God and holiness were far away, not something within my reach. I think that is why my gateway into Jewish life and practice was more based on doing rituals at certain times in certain spaces than in just trying to create an instant connection to spirituality. It started with a few annual Jewish observances in my family, the high holidays, Hanukkah, Pesach, and I was always concerned with doing things the right way, and so I became involved in trying to do these rituals the right way. I encouraged my family to start using real candles for Hanukkah instead of the electric ones I was used to, and I started to do the ritual of Berichat Chametz with the spoon and feather I had received in Hebrew school, even if I wasn't cleaning the whole house, making sure our Seder plate had all the right things and that the Seder went the right way. On the high holy days, I always remember my favorite moment was when the shofar was blown and the whole room would fill with this beautiful, pure note. I found meaning, comfort, and holiness and God in ritual. I also felt like I needed more. Over a slow process of years, I began learning all I could about Jewish thought and practice, and I began slowly incorporating these rituals into my life. I slowly began to incorporate things like Kiddush and Motzi on Friday every once in a while, then every week, then on Shabbat mornings too. I began to attend synagogue more regularly, first once a month, then once a week, and now often more than once a week. I, albeit unsuccessfully, built my first sukkah. The next year I bought one, incorporating Judaism into my space and my time. I felt and I still feel like the more of these rituals I incorporate into my life, the closer I feel to holiness and to God. Of course, I also gained appreciation for Jewish ethics and spirituality and other important parts of Judaism, but it was the space and time-based rituals in this world that coming back because it is how I was able to connect myself and my existence to God. As Rav Soloveitchik says, instead of bringing myself into God's realm, I brought God down into mine. These rituals seek to bring God down into our world. The Torah knows that we cannot escape our material earthly existence, nor does it want us to. We are needed on this earth, and if we get too caught up in going into the higher realms, we will forget about the important work we are responsible for doing on this earth, such as pursuing justice, feeding those in need, and caring for the well-being of those around us. Halakha keeps us grounded in this world. It keeps us from trying to find God on high and forget about our earthly existence and mission. It instead brings God down to us. It gives us both a way to be in relationship with God and to be true to the facts of human existence and be active forces for good in our world. I think that is why I am so drawn to halakha. Although the religion of what Rav Soloveitchik often calls the homo religiosus, a religion of fleeing this world in order to purify our spirits, can seem more compelling than the sometimes mundane feeling of time and space. We are reminded that as humans, we must be grounded in our world because it is our nature. As Rav Soloveitchik says, halachic man craves to bring down the divine presence and holiness into the midst of space and time, into the midst of the finite earthly existence. In other words, our parsha is offering us a way to connect to God in the two present realities of this world, space and time. But the addition of the laws of Shabbat before the instructions of the Mishkan are also to remind us that, in the words of Rabbi Heschel, we must not forget that it is not a thing that leads significance to a moment, it is a moment that leads significance to things. The service in the Mishkan was connected to time, different services and sacrifices for the normal days, Shabbat, and holidays. It was not the Mishkan that gave meaning to Shabbat, it was Shabbat, representing the sanctity of time, which gives meaning to the Mishkan. God gives us holiness in space only because we as humans need it, because God and space don't go together as a concept in the way that God and time do. Time and God are both eternal, yet not something physical. Things and places are temporary, but we can see them and feel them, which is how we as humans most obviously interact with the world. Shabbat, our principal sanctification of time, is existing because, like God, it cannot be destroyed or stolen. We cannot say the same of the Mishkan. God can come temporarily into space for us, but God and holiness will be in time for eternity. Shabbat is mentioned here in the start of our parsha to remind us that holiness cannot only be found in the space of the Mishkan, but perhaps more importantly in the holy times and moments we create in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, CSAIR. My name is Claudia Sachs, and I am 17 years old and a high school student, song leader, and BBYO member from Richmond, Virginia. And I'm so excited to be joining you this Shabbat. Today I will be sharing a melody that I wrote for Ana Elna, which is a prayer for healing. And I wrote it during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, recognizing that we needed a song and a prayer to remind us that we are loved and beautiful and special even when we may be feeling isolated or alone or lost. So I hope you join with me in this prayer, Ana Elna, and have a safe and peaceful and joyful Shabbat.